for actually pretty much before President Trump got inaugurated. We started talking because he had made very clear that he wasn't happy with NAFTA the way it was, although, you know, the first part of what we did was really pointing out that NAFTA has been incredibly positive for Canada, for the United States, for Mexico, and it has created millions of jobs across our three countries, and particularly between Canada and the U.S., we have the best and closest economic partnership of any two countries in the world. Again, pointing out that we have the United States has a trade surplus with Canada in everything except energy, and on energy, having a reliable, secure partner like Canada is a good thing for the U.S. So lots of arguments that NAFTA is great for Canada and the U.S., but if you want to improve it and modernize it, we're happy to do it. So we sat down, we've worked with them on a whole bunch of issues, including this morning in Washington, where we have some of our top folks continuing the conversations. To be honest, we're down to a point where there is a good deal on the table. The specific concern that we know the president has had for a long time has been about specifically jobs to Mexico, a lot of concerns about the auto industry, and Mexico has put proposals on the table that actually will go a long way towards reducing the trade deficit the U.S. has with Mexico, and indeed even bringing back some auto jobs from Mexico to the United States. So there's a very positive deal there, and there's, you know, lots of other things that we've talked about in NAFTA that have gotten where we are. It's right down to sort of the last conversations, and we know that those last conversations in any deal are extremely important, so I'm feeling positive about this, but it won't be done until it's done, and people are working very, very hard on it right now.
Can I ask what the sticking points are?
One of the key sticking points for Mexico and for us, but is this idea of a sunset clause on a trade deal. And to put it in I guess put it in a frame that maybe someone who, I don't know, did a lot of real estate deals might understand. If you agree to build a building on a particular parcel of land, but only hold the lease for 5 years, and after 5 years you actually lose the lease, you might not be interested in investing in the building that's going on that land. Well, what one of the American proposals is a sunset clause. That means every 5 years, NAFTA would be terminated unless we actively work to reactivate it and extend it another 5 years, I suppose. Well, in that kind of uncertainty around investment, it's hard to imagine a lot of folks being willing to make, you know, a 5-year investment in Canada. Well, we know most of the investments people look at today have, you know, 15, 20, 25-year timelines to them. So we don't really feel that a deal with a sunset clause is much of a deal at all. But other than that, and some issues around dispute resolution systems to make people fair, you know, we feel there is a good deal that actually achieves the things that the president certainly made very clear he wanted to see out of an improved NAFTA. So we're going to continue working responsibly, diligently. We've put a number of things on the table. I'm not going to negotiate in public, but I think there's reason to feel positive about the work we've done and, you know, what the coming days could bring.
Right. Given that you have to submit a proposal to Congress and House Speaker Ryan today in order to get fast-track authority through this session, 2018 session of Congress, are you telling us in the investment community that we're not going to get a NAFTA deal this year?
You know, I'm not going to opine on U.S. deadlines or U.S. processes. I'm responsible for the Canadian side of negotiations, and I've been, you know, we've been working very hard and coming down and putting forward proposals and, you know, really engaged in this, and we'll continue to until it's done. And
right.
That's our focus on it. So that's a question for the American side.
So you found common ground when it comes to rules of origin and autos.
There have been a lot of progress made on some really important issues, particularly around autos.
Right. So rules of origin, since we're at 62%, has that gone up to 75%?
I'm not going to get into the details. I'm confident in saying that we have found a proposal that is broadly acceptable to the three partners and our industries on the auto side of things. The rest of it and how we move forward is now very much something we're continuing to work on and very much looking forward to seeing how the Americans respond.
And did politics play into it? Because there is a presidential election in Mexico in July.
The presidential election in Mexico certainly impressed upon us a real concrete deadline in terms of trying to get this done before the presidential election, both because President Peña Nieto is very keen to get this done, but also there's a sense that whoever does become president doesn't want to necessarily have to be involved in these negotiations and can sort of have this behind them and look towards the next step. So that's certainly a time pressure on the Mexican side. On the American side, obviously there's an awareness that the midterms are coming up in the fall and Congress might change in its composition, and therefore there might be different imperatives. So making sure that we're trying to move forward with sort of the known factors we have now. There's also a little reflection on the fact that a lot of members of Congress are actually quite keen to see NAFTA, positively moved forward with, and would like to be able to go into their campaigns this fall with a positive message on continued trade with Canada and Mexico. So these are all factors that are going into it, but we're just very much plugging away, and we'll keep working until they shut off the lights. I mean, Canada's there to make sure that we move forward in a win-win-win, like so many people have said, including Vice President Pence.
That's right.